Hey guys, and welcome back today to another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what I believe are the top 10 biggest transfers so far to the Barclays Premier League this summer. Now all of this is completely open for discussion. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and if there's any players that I've missed who you think deserves to be in this top 10, let me know in the comments down below. As well as that, on Monday I do intend to do a potential transfers between now and the end of the transfer window, because I don't know about you guys, but literally every newspaper and every social media in the world right now is basically linking every football player with every single team, particularly Man United. So I'm going to cover that on Monday. Let me know in the comments down below any ridiculous gossip that you have heard regarding transfers between now and the end of the transfer window. But without any further ado, we are going to go in straight at number 10, and I have given the number 10 spot to Raheem Sterling. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about Sterling, whether or not he's worth 49 million. Me personally, I don't think he is worth 49 million pounds. Remember, in 2001, 49 million bought you Zinedine Zidane. Now I know that is completely out of perspective now, because obviously football's progressed, there's a lot more money in football now than there was back then, but still, I can't personally justify 49 million for Sterling. However, he is undoubtedly an incredibly talented football player, and he's going to start games for City, he's going to keep scoring goals. I think he's going to have a good season. In terms of Man City's start, they've made an unbelievable start. Obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan. They beat us 3-0, deservedly so. I think he's going to have a great season, but I'm putting him at number 10. Now, for number 9, I'm going to give this to Bastian Schweinsteiger. I think, obviously, as a Chelsea fan, missing that penalty in Munich was a big thing for Schweinsteiger. He's been in my good books ever since. I think for Manchester United, their main problem last season was their defence. As much as it pains me to say it, Chris Smalling seems to have made that step up into being the leader at the back so far this season, and Daley Blind alongside him seems to be doing alright at centre-back. So I think Schweinsteiger is going to be that guy in front of the Manchester United defence who's going to keep things short, and so far, 3 clean sheets. I've just finished watching them draw with Newcastle. They're looking good. Now number 8, I'm going to give this to West Ham's new signing, Dimitri Payet. Of course, Payet was awesome last season in Ligue 1, and also he was a very, very good player on FIFA. He seems to have made a great start to life at West Ham, and of course West Ham this season, it is a massive season for them. They move in to the Olympic Stadium next season, so they need to have a solid season, avoiding relegation, of course. That is literally, they just can't get relegated. But I think they're going to have a good season. I expect West Ham to finish in the top half, and Payet is going to be a huge player for them. Now number 7, I probably wouldn't have actually included him in this before the season actually began. Andre Ayew seems to have made a brilliant start for Swansea. I saw the game, obviously I'm a Chelsea fan. Swansea were better than us at Stamford Bridge, and Ayew was one of the players that was making things tick for Swansea. He's got 2 goals as well in his first 2 games. A really, really good start for him. I think he's going to suit the Premier League, and I think Swansea are going to have a great season. I think they're probably going to finish maybe 7th. Now number 6, I'm going to give that to Stoke City's acquisition of Xherdan Shaqiri. Shaqiri is an awesome player. He was brilliant for Switzerland at the last World Cup. Didn't have the greatest of seasons last season for Inter Milan. I expect Stoke to have another really good season. It's been a bit of a bumpy start. They've had some tough games, but I think Shaqiri, when he gets playing in that central attacking midfield role for Stoke, he's going to have a good season. Right, now moving into the top half of this top 10. Number 5 is going to go to Crystal Palace and their signing of Yohan Cabaye. Cabaye's got great Premier League experience. He was Newcastle's best player in the Premier League for a few years. There was talks of Arsenal sniffing around him at one time. He went to Ligue 1. Didn't really work out that well for him. He's come back to the Premier League. I think Crystal Palace is a great club for him to be at. He's going to play every game this season. Crystal Palace had a brilliant end to last season, and I think under Alan Pardew, they're going to continue to do that. Maybe they might get a top half finish. If they are going to get a top half finish with all the other clubs spending money, Cabaye's going to have a big thing to say about that. Now, number 4, Man United fans look away. Chelsea's signing of Pedro. Now, obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm going to have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to try and keep it as unbiased as possible. Pedro is a very, very good player. He's a good finisher. May not have had as many opportunities at Barcelona last season as he would have liked, but obviously, when you've got Neymar, Messi and Suarez ahead of you, it's pretty much understandable. It doesn't make him any less of a player than he was the season before last, or the season before that. Pedro is a World Cup winner. He's won the Euros, he's won multiple Champions League titles. He is exactly the sort of player that Chelsea needed to bring into the side after what has been a little bit of a bobbly start to the season. Bobbly. What sort of vocabulary is that? But all bobbly jokes aside, even though Chelsea don't necessarily need more wingers, I think he's going to have a big part to play, and if I think anyone who's going to miss out from that Chelsea team to make way for Pedro, Cuadrado probably isn't going to get a look in now. Maybe he's going to move on. That could be for Monday's video. And as well as that, I also expect Willian to move into the middle, Pedro to move over to the right, which means that Oscar is going to lose his place in the team unless he picks his game up. I'm a big fan of Oscar, so I hope he does. I don't know how this Chelsea team's going to look. It's super strong. Number 3, Nicolas Otamendi. A brilliant signing for Manchester City to partner Vincent Kompany at the back. Imagine if Kompany can carry on the rest of this season the way he started the first 2 games. He looks back to his best. And with Otamendi, who was undoubtedly the best player defensively last season in La Liga, it could be an unbelievable partnership. And it, for me, could be the signing which makes Man City the favourites. It is a lot of money, £32 million, but considering they spent the same amount on Mangala, who, even though he started this season quite well, doesn't necessarily look as assured as, say, Otamendi is going to, it's going to be an amazing signing. And I think, for me, it makes City title favourites. Now, number 2. I know he's not had the best start to the season at Arsenal, but Petr Cech is my number 2. For £10 million, I know he's not as young as he used to be, but goalkeepers can play for a lot longer than, say, a central midfielder can. Petr Cech is going to have a huge season for Arsenal. I still think, even though there's been questions about his performances so far, I think he's still going to win Arsenal more points this season than they would have done last season without a top-class goalkeeper like Cech in goal. It is pretty painful, as a Chelsea fan, to see Petr Cech in an Arsenal jersey. But I think he's still going to be the world-class goalkeeper for Arsenal that we all know that he is. For me, he's still up there in the top 4 or 5 goalkeepers in the world, no question about that. Arsenal have got an absolute bargain at 10 million, and I still think he is going to have a huge season for them. Now, it's pretty clear already, because he's not been mentioned between number 10 and number 2. Memphis Depay is my number 1 for the best signing so far from a Barclays Premier League club this summer, considering Manchester City, looking back to number 10, spent 49 million on Raheem Sterling. For Manchester United to be able to sign Depay for £31 million, for me, that makes it a bargain. We've already seen what he's capable of in the Champions League, scoring twice and a brilliant assist against Club Brugge for United to win that 3-1. Going into the second leg. He may not have scored yet in the Premier League, but for me, that doesn't really matter. United have made a very strong start. Yes, they drew at home to Newcastle and didn't look like they were going to score, simply because no one was finishing. 7 points from 3 games, 3 clean sheets. It's looking good for United. Depay's made a really, really positive start, and he's going to go from strength to strength. So that, for me, was my top 10 BPL signings so far in this transfer window. I do expect a lot of money to be spent in the next 8 or 9 days. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to happen between now and the end of the transfer window, and I'm going to get my thoughts video up on Monday. Drop a like if you're excited for that. Don't read the newspapers and believe everything you hear, because if you did, Ronaldo's going to be signing for Barnsley. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. And I'm doing my first video on YouTube. I'm not going to do another one for a whole year and more. But I'm going to say that I am. If not, I'm not going to do it.
Stop.
And hey guys!
Hey there!
Oh, jeez.